Pizza presents SCP. The Steve Dangle Podcast with your hosts, Steve Dangle and Adam Wilde.
Man, how long has it been? How long has it been since we had an NHL player who's currently playing in the NHL on this show?
How long has it been since we did a podcast at all?
That's been a while. Like, Jesse went to Mexico, came back.
I did.
Yeah, like this was the exact day that everyone started to get antsy.
Yes.
Like, my mentions are just like, oi, where's the podcast?
Give me an effing pot. It's like threatening, though. It's not even nice. It's like, yo,
Oh.
you guys are really slacking in these summer months, eh? I'm like, LeBron's off, Johnston's off, everybody's off, and it's like we're in that we're not in that realm, but I'm just saying.
No,
come
we're
on.
higher.
Come on, yeah, exactly. And they would say that.
We're 400 subscribers away from 30,000
Whoa.
on YouTube.
Whoa.
How many
That's a
subscribers
big deal.
Elliot Friedman have?
0.
None. Garbage.
I wonder if our guest, who everybody's super pumped about, would subscribe to us on YouTube. I'm not really sure.
I assume he already does.
Okay, well, I hope so. His name is Connor Carrick. Welcome to the show, Connor Carrick! Woo!
Hi, Connor.
I have to subscribe on YouTube. I don't know if I ever subscribe to anybody, but I'd be more than happy to help you guys out.
Well,
teach me. So I just gotta learn how to keep up,
Well, Steve, I don't know if you know this or not. Noted YouTuber. Could probably help you out a little bit. And I mean, listen, the way your Instagram's going, we could start you a YouTube channel and take off in no time.
I thought Steve was I saw his Instagram, his breakaway the other day. I thought he was a player.
Yeah, you didn't know I was that good, right?
No, I just figured with Dangle in the name, he had serious game. And, I saw the video. It speaks for itself, man.
No, sure does. That goalie really brought his A game,
I'm
didn't
so
he?
fast. I was doing my best Connor Carrick impression because I was playing right D, but somehow my first goal was on a breakaway.
And playing right D, leading the rush. That's how I built my career.
That's how Steve plays in the EA NHL games, too. Do you play those?
Like the video games?
Yeah.
Or the ones that... I'm not a video game guy. Never got into it. It was an unpopular part of the room to be in. When I was with the Leafs, for example, a pretty nerdy group. I'll go that far. Sorry to all the gamers. It's not my style. And
I just wonder if you if you move yourself up the line. Like for me, if it was me, I'm putting myself on the top pairing right away.
Oh, on a video game?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
I'm not saying I was always that stiff. Like I used to play, and I don't think I've had an attribute under 99, if that's what we're getting at.
Yeah. In real life, too. In real life.
Exactly.
Now I'm just picturing, the whole room talking about, Fortnite or whatever, and Connor's walking in and going, hey, you guys read the Daily Stoic? Is that your...
A good 101. That's pretty accurate. That's pretty accurate.
When did that changeover happen for you? You said you weren't always that stiff. And I'm using your words because I don't think you're stiff. I mean, but I do want to know, was there a change in your career? I read one of your Instagram posts, I think it was 2 days ago, and it's you at the gym and you're talking about your goals and everything that you do right now is will I win the Stanley Cup? Will this help me win the Stanley Cup? If it's a yes, then keep doing it. If it's a no, then I'm not even going to think about it. When did that mindset change for you?
That's a little bit, I don't think I'm stiff either. I just think self-deprecation is in right now. But, I used to kind of have an idea of what an athlete should look like. And it's funny, as hockey players, I'm sure other guys can attest to this. I'm not the biggest guy. I'm not someone that, if I were to walk in, to a restaurant or whatever, it's not like the whole place turns and everyone wonders, hey, I wonder what that guy does. He looks like a wide receiver or, a pro hockey player or a basketball player or whatever. And for whatever reason, when I would train, I felt like I needed to look and be something, particularly look. I felt like I should be this, big, tall, shredded-looking pro athlete. And at the end of the day, the best hockey players in the world, yes, being lean and all that's important. Being strong is important. But the game is not played in a weight room, and that's kind of always been the joke of guys that don't care to work out. They've never scored from a bench press, and that. And, I agree with that. And I think it just, I appreciate the art of the game more now than I ever have. And I think that's a little bit, I've lost a little bit of that, when I went to the U.S. team, just because it was such a factory feel. You'd go in, and I did love the U.S. team, but it was, you're going to go in, you're going to go to work, you're going to come out a freak, kind of like Frankenstein. It's just like a creation of this beast, and physically, which I always appreciated, and I don't know, I've never minded working out. I've always kind of liked it. But just my focus this summer is the game, the skill of the game, the detail of the game, all that, probably more than ever.
So how important is coffee to your summer training regimen? I need to know. And do you have cashew milk in your coffee or whatever it's called?
Yeah, you Canadians throw a Y on that word. Apparently the milk dilemma needs a clarification.
Is that a Canadian thing?
Yeah, we say milk instead of milk. He's right. And pillow instead of pillow.
What?
Yeah, we do that. He's right.
You throw the Y in cashew milk too. It's usually MYLK. And I don't know what that is. I don't know.
I don't know what that is. We don't know either, man. We don't know either.
Were you shocked when you saw bagged milk for the first time?
But no, coffee's a big deal for me. I start every day, with the Chemex, the Breaking Bad look caption on my Instagram. It started as I was playing in Hershey, and I actually feel bad. We had a trainer who would make this coffee, and it was inside this thermos called the Cocoa Beanery. Was what it was, the logo on the front. And the coffee was so bad that I would never go to this Cocoa Beanery. I'm like, I think what happened was they were supplying the Hershey Bears with coffee on game day, and it was so weak. It was like bean water. It was not.
Yeah.
It was not coffee.
Oh, God.
But when that's what's available, right?
So what I found out was it was actually just our trainer who liked really weak coffee was making it. So I apologize that I never gave my business to the Cocoa Beanery, but I never went once based off this story. And I found Tim Hortons K-Cups at a Bed Bath & Beyond, and all the Canadians I played with, had never figured out a way to get them into the States and, in a way that was convenient or whatever. So I was kind of the star in the room that week. The Bed Bath & Beyond was pretty well sold out at Tim Hortons K-Cups because it was the Cocoa Beanery or the Carrick was our coffee, brewing mechanisms of choice. And then I just kept working my way up from there, and I was gifted a French press, and I started jamming with the Chemex, and it's been game over ever since.
Wow.
Were you shocked when you saw bagged milk for the first time?
Yeah, I had heard the term, when guys would, because it's a derogatory term, when a guy's maybe a little overweight, right? I'd heard Canadians call another teammate a milk bag,
Yeah.
Body like a bag of milk.
Yeah, I wasn't positive what in the world they were talking about.
That's amazing.
Oh, showed me that.
You're cutting out, my friend. Do you mind saying that again?
I just had never seen it before. So at the first grocery store I went to where they had the milk bags, it all clicked for me on what the team jokes are talking about.
Hey, so it's funny because we've always kind of joked about the fact that there's this magical line between the United States and Canada, and for some reason you passed this made up, completely ridiculous, decided in 1812 and never really changed, and we're not really sure why it's there anyway, and there's really no physical barrier between the two countries, but things instantly change when you cross the border on both sides. When you came to Canada for the first time, were you expecting it to be all that different, and was it more different than you thought it would be, or was it kind of like, oh, this is pretty much what we were thinking?
I would never feel it. I definitely felt it when I watched TV. The advertisements were just so different, and I can't place. I just felt like they were goofier in Canada. I don't know how to describe it. And then there would be like weird moments in which I'm in a foreign country, I guess.
Yeah.
I get it doesn't really feel foreign, but you know, and I just went through it a little bit. You know, we get paid in U.S. dollar. All my, you know, banking and that was in U.S. dollars. So I just went through the pain of, you know, paying rent in Canadian and transferring money over and, you know, things like that. That was probably the starkest contrast.
Yep.
And then trying to think, like the Aero Bar, I was a pretty big fan of that back in the day when, you know, growing up, you know, up to Toronto. So I was pretty happy that I had access to that all the time.
Do you have
that wasn't real popular.
Can you even eat those as a pro athlete?
Yeah, are you allowed?
Are you allowed to have that? Are you allowed to have a beer?
No, it voids your contract. Totally voids it.
Yeah,
Well,
that was a little Lou Lamoriello loophole there. Some guy puts a burlap sack over your head and voids your contract.
The reason I ask is that I remember Nazem Kadri coming into the season a couple years ago, and I think it would have been your first season, first full season in a Leaf jersey, and so just after the Winnick trade, and you. I think it was it was a young team. It was an exciting team. We had no idea what was gonna happen, and there's this huge article on Nazem Kadri about how he's a different physical specimen than he had been the year before, and he was talking about how he gave up cookies, and like, and I guess that makes a huge difference.
You know, it's your diet is just a big collection of habits, and I don't know if there's anything more personal. You know, but Naz had a pretty good year that year. Of cookies was all it took. Good for him. Some of us out there are trying to figure out, you know, how to know who's where on the ice and that. Naz has only got to worry about passing up the chocolate chip cookies to, you know, have.
Well, you know, okay, so I do want to know because, you know, we hear so much and it's funny, like, you know, I'm sure you're used to this talking to the Toronto media. But there is sort of like an italicized Toronto when you talk about the Toronto media, right?
Toronto.
In hockey, I mean, it is one of the centers of the media universe in hockey, if not the center. I mean, obviously, you know, Chicago, New York, Boston probably be pretty hot on that scale too. But you know, for you and jumping in and having played in Washington a bit, played in Toronto, and now having played in Jersey, you know, what was it like? What's it like market to market? Like, is the Toronto media that bad? And does it actually deter people from wanting to play here? Because that's something that we hear a lot.
Now, I think role on the team matters really, you know, quite a bit to this question. Just because, you know, I was not a 50-goal scorer, believe it or not, guys, with the Toronto Maple Leafs. So, you know, I had my fair share of media. But, you know, in terms of discomfort, you know, the hardest part was just in small locker rooms or Aladias. And, you know, I had to try and untie my skates quickly so I wasn't, you know, in the way of other interviews or whatever.
Right.
I never saw it. I can imagine, you know, I still follow the team. I still have a lot of friends, you know, that are Toronto Maple Leafs. I personally love the idea that, you know, you just felt like it was a big deal being a Maple Leaf, and that was validated by, you know, how many people were in the stands, how the organization treated you. You know, it was first class all the way. That's what was expected. I know that it was the culture that we had in that room, that we were going to try and give, you know, our fan base in the city, you know, the best we could and win a Stanley Cup, and we weren't able to do it, you know, when I was there. Personally, I'd say no, because it goes the other way too. Like, as an NHL player, we all grew up as fans, and we went to games, and we enjoyed the big crowds, and that's what you want to play in front of. You want to play in front of people that care. And I always found it to be a privilege. Is there a day, you know, you're tired back-to-back, or maybe at practice you got bag skated or whatever, and do you not want to answer a question about, you know, the turnover you had last night in the last 6 minutes? Yeah, maybe, but, you know, answering the question was not the hard part. You know, sleeping after the turnover was more demanding than that. Kind of, I don't know.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yep. I get it. Oh, dude, I make turnovers in video games that I think about for the rest of the night. I can't go to bed. What's the biggest difference? Sorry, what's that, Connor?
That's why I quit playing him. I couldn't take it.
Yeah, exactly.
Steve has broken controllers.
Oh,
so.
I have. And friendships. I've ended friendships. What's the biggest difference no longer being on a team managed by Lou Lamoriello? What's the freedom you have now?
Well, I'm growing this massive beard. I thought Lou was great. If you're running an organization, I think you need, kind of rules and expectations, and you're better off being overly clear with those than not communicating those at all. And Lou was always very clear about, what he wanted and where he stood. And I don't think if you ever crossed Lou, I don't think it was like eternal punishment, like he'd let you know what he was unhappy with, over. It was interesting just seeing the different dynamic, like in Washington, George McPhee treated me really well. But I was really young. Lou talked to me more, man to man every time that we talked. McClellan wasn't around much in Washington. He didn't have a very personal element to his management style. Just the little bit I was called up there. Jim Nill was very cordial and treated me with great respect in Dallas. I've had, a good, I don't know, I guess you'd call it a good relate. None of them have, it's funny, I asked that my mom after every contract asked, after I sign, are you happy with it? And I'd say, Mom, I asked for 10 years, $10 million per, but they said no, so I'm pretty happy with what I got. Very frank,
And now after a pair of trades, you're with the New Jersey Devils, and I just want to know how excited you are to be one of the 4 amazing right-handed D they have. They have you, Subban, Damon Severson, and also, of course, Nikita Gusev.
Yeah, I was. I'm. Thank you for saying amazing. If I had an arbitration case, I would have used this podcast. A strong team. You want to be on a competitive team in the NHL. You want to be with playoff hopes and expectations. I think Ray Shiro's had a busy, off season where he was, wheeling and dealing and trying to make his team better. And it sounded like at the end of the year meetings that was his expectation for himself. And now it's on us players as a group. We haven't started, training camp or anything like that, but I'm imagining, everyone in the Devils organization is it's a bit to get going.
Well, I mean, the Devils had, I think, from pretty much everybody, they had the best offseason of the whole league. I mean, I don't think there's a team that added more talent without giving up much. And
Subban, Gusev, Simmons, they kept Carrick.
Yeah, and that's in all seriousness, it's a deep team. And obviously Taylor Hall's the guy that's they're going to be the big question mark going into this season. I won't ask you about that because what are you going to say? But obviously that there's got to be, and I don't know how this feels for you, but if you're going back into Toronto with a team like the Devils, how strong the Devils are, Connor, does it get you excited to be like, okay, all my friends are over there, and I got a team that can absolutely match and beat these guys any night? Is there a little bit of that competitive edge? Like I'm going out there and I'm giving just a little bit more tonight?
I mean, absolutely. I just think the NHL has so many games that naturally there's going to be ones that just catch your eye first on the calendar. And, the Leaf games are always, big games for me. The games against Chicago, because that's where we're from, are always big games. Dallas will be important, now that I've got a little history there. Mm-hmm. Washington was who drafted me, and I think I'm running out. But you want to, I'm competitive with my friends. I wanted to beat them in practice. I wanted to beat them, when we played the Leafs early last year, and Dallas wanted to beat them. Absolutely. I want to beat every team I play against. But no question, it's better when you're going into a fight with a bigger gun. And the hope is that with New Jersey that we're a team to be reckoned with this year.
Well, and I want to know how you're going to prepare to play a player who you played with last year, and he's probably going to be in the running for Leafs MVP this year. I want a scouting report on Kenny Agostino. What can Leaf fans expect out of him?
Kenny's a great dude. He worked for real hard getting the puck back down the stretch. He was on a little bit on that second power play unit that we had. We were, pretty thin, run down with injuries at the end. And he's a good dude. I got decently intimate understanding of his game. 20 games is not nothing, but I haven't seen him year out. Hopefully he can, grab a spot, in that lineup and run with it. And a lot of great players to develop chemistry with. I know there's been some departures, so I'm not overly familiar with the depth chart, but I'm wishing Kenny Agostino all the best, man.
That's cool.
He's going to be great. He's going to be the best on the Stanley Cup champion Toronto Maple Leafs, who beat the New Jersey Devils
in the Eastern
Conference Final. I assume. And you know what I want to hear after that?
What's that?
After that blood feud in the Eastern Conference Final, I want to hear Connor Carrick on his own podcast. And you've sort of been alluding to that. Is that going to happen?
So, I worked with a guy actually out of Barrie who reached out and kind of said, Connor, I what you're trying to do with your platform and, the positivity and sort of inspiration to make good on that inspiration turn into action. He goes, I want to help you. So I have a little documentary that I'm going to upload. I'm going to compete with you, Steve, on YouTube. I'm coming.
Whoa, now.
Okay?
Okay.
And eventually, I would, I'm definitely considering the works of a podcast as shown here. I don't mind talking at length. I think that's a prerequisite. I enjoy talking hockey, so it'll, there'll always be a component to that. That's a core part of who I am, is that love for the game. But I also enjoy, discussing other avenues, and that was other areas of growth and well-being, mental, physical, kind of spiritual. And I really dove into that when I was, out of the lineup quite a bit as a Maple Leaf. I think that the human spirit wants to, experience, growth and challenge. And, when I was kind of out of the lineup, I wasn't getting the evaluation every day out of the sport that I was accustomed to. I wasn't getting the satisfaction of good job, bad job. I wasn't getting tested as frequently. And, to try and maintain a positive mindset, I really tried to dig deep and we call them adversity reads. Guys will, kind of mess with a teammate when we're walking back on the plane, whatever, and a guy had a bad game and he'll be reading the adversity read. I had quite a few of those out. It was definitely a time period in my career where, I wasn't thrilled with where I was. My podcast, I might be featuring some of that, my thoughts, in and around, well-being and personal growth. It'll be as much as a learning experience for me as I enjoy talking about it. I hope to have people on it that I can learn from, as well as just putting something good into the world. I'd like to think that I can contribute to the communities I'm a part of that way.
Well, I think that would be a must listen. I think that's something that, Connor, I know you're no stranger to this. There's a culture around the NHL, and we always compare it to what the NBA and the NFL are doing, where there seems to be, you better get in lockstep with the team. You better not say too much, or you're going to be in trouble or ostracized or whatever. And therefore, when anybody makes any sort of comment that's somewhat borderline interesting, which is rare.
Yeah, not even controversial, not even interesting.
Just yeah. And especially in places like Toronto, as you've seen, it can get blown up and taken out of context, and because we're just dying for somebody to say something. What do you think the reasons are because in the NBA it happens all the time. You got NBA players starting 5 or 6 different Instagram accounts so they can defend themselves on Stephen A. Smith's Instagram comments. You got NBA executives who are telling people to stop criticizing their shirt. And then in hockey it's this very kind of closed off, quiet thing, and you rarely hear candid answers. Is there a reason for that, do you think?
Hockey's always had an admirable tradition built into the game. It's a little bit of a fall in line game. It's a play the game the right way. You know, play in a way that serves your teammates, act in a way that serves your team, and I think that'll be preserved. You know, hopefully it never leaves hockey. I don't think it will. You know, basketball historically just had flair, had players with, I don't know necessarily if they had louder personalities or they were just more willing to share that aspect of themselves. I think hockey is that it's. The players in today's game are receiving more pressure to be more of themselves as a way to grow the game, and that's kind of what I'm doing. I think as players, we're all celebrities to some extent. We're all, come from, groups of friends and families that supported us growing up and kind of had our hometowns and our home rinks. People care who we are there, and if you reach a big enough level of success, people tend to gravitate towards you. So I just think, as a player, I have a responsibility to leave the game better than it was when I arrived. And I think that fan connection is so easily made and accessible nowadays. And every player dips their toe into social media anyway. Like, every player is on, one of them, Twitter or Snapchat or Instagram, and they check it more than they'd honestly answer. I've been on the team buses. I know what guys are on their phones doing.
Yeah.
I just think as players, and we've seen it, we've seen the NBA grow at such a rate. There's such a recognizability to the game. I'm not a huge NBA fan, but I know, where Kawhi Leonard signed. I'm sorry, Toronto fans. I know about the Raptors. I know who Steph Curry is. I know who his wife is. I know who James Harden is. And I've watched very minimal basketball in the last 12 to 24 months.
Right.
But there's just a way information kind of subliminally is released through different channels that you learn and follow the league casually. And that, turns into revenue for the league. It turns into attention. And we have a great game in the NHL. We have superb talent. I think the game is going to get so much faster and so much more skilled in a short amount of time. It's only to become more attractive, and I do think players are tastefully starting to take the responsibility of growing the game maybe a little bit more. They're just doing more of it. That's the best way to put it.
Well, and that's like every once in a while, Austin Matthews will post a Snapchat. And
hot girl summer.
He's having a good
time.
Summer. And it's kind of like you see the personality from him on that level. But Austin doesn't seem like the kind of guy who's going to get in front of a group of reporters and say something outlandish, right? He's just not that kind of guy. And I wondered for you, you saw Austin Matthews, Mitch Marner, William Nylander come into this league same time you did, basically. There's all that same year, right? That you guys, it was just a bunch of young kids and JVR, Bozak, and Kadri. And I wonder, like, when you have that attention instantaneously, you talk about the effect on you mentally. What do you think the mental effect was on those guys and yourself in being a young team, being an exciting team, being a team that surprised, but all of a sudden you have to deal with all the things that you just mentioned?
I mean, as a player, you're at least I was taught growing up, your focus is to improve at your craft, and any brain space award to anything else is kind of like cheating. Like, you're cheating on your sport if you're not thinking of a way to get better, around the clock. And I can only imagine the guys that are even better than I am, that they have an even greater responsibility, to the talent that they've been gifted and created, all through their childhood. I think that those three guys you named in particular, Nylander, Marner, Matthews, had a lot of eyes on them very early. The coaching staff and management definitely tried their very best to make it a hockey first, sort of environment in which they could, get the game in order and then begin to handle more responsibilities. They all do have great personalities. They're very lovable people. They're awesome teammates. They're interesting. They're a lot of fun to be around. They have a great kinetic sense to them in which people are drawn to them, both because of their talent, just who they are as people. It'll be interesting to see how they all wear it, growing up. There's going to be successes and failures in their career as Leafs, and hopefully they're all for a long time. It'll be interesting to see. I think they'll be influenced by, the more veteran status as they grow up. They'll feel more comfortable in their own skin. I think that's natural progression. I think, it'll be interesting to see with how the team does, if they open up more or not.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I can only the demand on superstars in Toronto is unique, and I think there's only a really small handful of people that you can ask about exactly what that's like. And frankly, I wasn't one of them. But I definitely would support. I think that they would do them well. And Mitch maybe is the most in the spotlight. Willie's not afraid. And Austin, has had, the fashion shoots and things like that. I think they'll all continue, dip their toe deeper and deeper in the water. I don't think anyone's going to take a cannonball.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see. I mean, as players, we pick our head up and look around. You look at what the superstars in basketball are doing and what they've been successful with, and I think as people and players, we like to think of ourselves as dynamic and change and able to handle more responsibility, and that might be how they handle their media and branding and business responsibilities moving forward.
Connor, and again, I'm asking you this question, but I'm not going to ask you the typical Toronto media version of this question, because everybody's heard this answer a billion different ways, and there's no way that you could possibly answer it anyway. But just so that people on Twitter can calm down about what's going on.
Slightly.
You were Mitch Marner's teammate for 3.5, 4 years. You know him. Did he enjoy being a Toronto Maple Leaf?
Have you ever seen him drink blood?
No. Does he like being a Toronto Maple Leaf? Do you get the feeling he wants to be here?
I mean, Mitchie's he's a special person, and he's a special player. He's an absolute blast to watch. As someone who now plays against him, as someone who had the luxury and privilege to play with him, I always got the impression that Mitch came to work every day, never feeling that it was that. He loved being a Maple Leaf. He did everything he could. Every night that I was there to help that team win. I haven't seen him, do anything that he had to put his heart and soul into. I have to think Mitch loves being a Leaf. I can only imagine, the dynamic of what's going on there. I have a lot of respect for the two people on each side of the team, and Kyle Dubas, and how he always, dealt with me. And I have an immense amount of respect for Mitch. He's still one of my close friends. We talk, decently often. I'll be, very upfront that I have been very hands-off about, I'm sure everyone's asking in terms of what's he thinking in that.
Yeah.
His girlfriend is an absolute sweetheart. My wife and his girlfriend are very, very close. It'll be interesting to see, how it takes shape. The whole hockey world is anticipating, waiting to see what happens. We'll see. It was funny. One of the things I've always considered that helps me in times of uncertainty as a player, am I going to play soon? Am I, getting traded? Curiosity about my own contract. Time moves forward, and you'll always get your answer in hockey. Like, you'll always know the answer eventually to the question you're asking, and we'll see what happens.
Mm-hmm.
He wouldn't answer the question about drinking blood.
Did you hear the question about drinking blood, Connor?
He did.
Drinking blood? No, I've never seen him.
I don't think you heard it.
Never
No.
been
Oh, you never heard?
No.
Never seen him drink blood. Okay. And Connor, I think the last question is, and this is just a personal thing. And this is going to sound really inside, but I don't care. I'm going for it. When you're a Toronto Maple Leaf, are you aware of Steve Dangle?
I mean, I think his game in general, as shown on Instagram, demands attention.
You're damn right.
He's coming for everybody's job, right?
I need a contract right now.
I just always wonder what it's like to have, like, to be in a dressing room and then have some guy on the internet yelling about you. Like, I just wonder what that feels like.
By osmosis, you learn, you know the names of people that are, following the team and are fans of yours. And as a player, it's interesting, right? Because, Steve, I'm assuming, this career path you're on is really born out of, your love for the team.
Yeah.
And you have a love for the game. Players have a love for the game. And at your core, you want to be liked by fans. You want to be admired in the way that, as a player, I admired my favorite players growing up.
Mm-hmm.
We always, Steve, we appreciated you, man, and all you guys being Leaf fans at the time. We always appreciate our fans, and if you're someone like yourself who gained some attention, and you've obviously got this podcast and your YouTube channel and that. If you said something funny or whatever, I have aunts and uncles. They would follow the team just as anybody would. They would send me something if it was funny. No, I definitely knew who you were.
Okay. No, I've always wondered what that reaction would be.
Thanks, Dad. I appreciate that very much.
You hear things, Connor, through the, like, in our position, you hear things through the walls, right? It's like, it'll go broken telephone, or so and so says to so and so says to so and so, and we've heard mixed things, never from the Leafs themselves, but always from management and things like that. Not necessarily even with the Leafs, just people. So it's very, very interesting to get that perspective. So thank you for letting me ask that question. I appreciate it.
And now things are going a full 360 where we're trying to take each other's jobs.
Yeah.
And I gotta say, I like my chances.
You never should have let me in the door.
Well, Connor, we're looking forward to you when you put that video, because I have seen that. I have seen Connor's video that he was talking about earlier. Can't wait to see that and the reaction to it on Instagram. Any idea when that comes out?
I'm debating today or Monday.
Okay.
My two.
Okay.
Kind of somewhere in between there. Probably today, as long as I'm on my way out to a skate with a friend up in Michigan. So as long as I can get there in a timely fashion and I don't hit any more traffic, I'd like to get my hands on my phone and get out what I was looking to do. And then if not, I will fail and then get it on Monday.
That is
all right.
That's what we do every time
Very
there's a new
honest.
episode. People go, when is it? And I go, I don't know.
But it will
ask
arrive.
Jesse. Yes, it will come here soon.
Connor, it's been a pleasure. Thank you for being so candid with us. We're looking forward to this show, man. We really are. Whenever it happens, you'll be like the Danny Green of the NHL. It'll be nice to have that perspective, and it was great to have it today. You can follow Connor on Instagram at Connor Carrick, just spelled how it sounds. You can also follow Hoagie the Frenchie, who's Connor's dog, who you should follow.
Yes.
Because, duh. And man, I hope this is not the last time. I hope next time it's in person. So when you roll through with New Jersey, if you can make time between the skates or whatever, feel free to come on with us.
Absolutely. My wife did launch a blog recently called Pucking Fresh, and that's with a P.
Nice.
She's really excited about that, works very hard. I know what her intentions are and what her goals are for her platform. Hoagie the Frenchie's been a little dormant. I think after this plug, I'm going to have to, change that and give the people what they want, because the Hoagie content is consumed at a rate that people love it, man. People love it. Dogs are good. I'm going to have to.
You can't have a dog that looks like this. You cannot have a Frenchie that looks like this and not post pictures, man. And I'm talking daily pictures. We need to get on this. You and Lexi.
I think Hoagie needs to follow Iggy and Charlie Dangle
Shameless.
on Instagram. Follow my dogs is what I'm trying to say, Connor.
Collaboration.
Hey, yeah, and so best of luck to Lexi. Connor, best of luck to you this season. It's going to be a great one for the Devils, no doubt. And thank you so much for making time for us today. It really was a pleasure.
Thank you, guys. Have fun.
All right, have a good one.
See you, dude.
You too.
Wow.
January 14th, circle on the calendar. New Jersey versus Toronto and Toronto. There you go.
Hey, there you go.
Okay. All right. I'm looking forward to that. That'll be fun. I wonder if like they're usually, especially if it's Jersey, they're in and out, right? There'd be no way we could actually get them in.
Oh, like in the studio?
Yeah.
It depends how many days off
They have
after the game. You know, never know. Maybe the Ontario guys want to. Sorry, I'm adjusting to. You ever have your headphones on for half an hour and then you got to get used to what normal hearing is like?
I don't have that anymore because that's every day.
It's too natural to you.
Yeah, it's just
Sorry.
it's not even something I think about.
I feel like I sound like I'm in a tunnel.
I thought what he had to say specifically about his time in Toronto and the end of it. I mean, you got to remember, the guy still played 47 games his last season in Toronto, so that's not a small number.
Yeah,
but I mean, you could see it when he was here, how frustrating it was. And to be honest with you, we knew at the time there were better options. Like, he was a better option than what they were playing.
it was probably his family members going, this guy says you should be in the lineup.
Yeah.
This guy says it every video.
Look, if you're sitting there and you see a guy who you're clearly better than, and every night that person gets this opportunity when you know you could probably take that opportunity to do so much better, that's got to be frustrating.
Yeah.
I think it should be praised for not once bringing up Roman Polak. During that whole thing.
No,
not
you
one.
couldn't do that to him.
Did you catch what I did? I said he's one of 4 really good right-handers.
Yes, I did, and he caught it too, you a-hole.
I know.
Yeah, thanks for including me in that.
Nikita Gusev.
Yeah, when you
because
mentioned
he's not a defenseman.
He's not a
winger.
defenseman.
Oh, I got fooled on that one because I'm like, yeah, that's right. Because I thought I had it inverted again. So I
thought he just thought you made a mistake.
Yeah.
I think he just like, Steve made a mistake. I'm not going to call him out on it.
That was, by the way, that Nikita Gusev thing has messed me up forever because now I don't know what he is. You know,
left wing.
Yeah,
forget.
right.
Yeah,
Okay,
he's
so
not even a right
wing.
wing.
No.
So he's left wing,
Yeah.
but Steve said he's a defenseman, and now I don't trust either.
A right-handed defenseman.
I don't know, man.
Listen, folks who
Some
bombed my mentions with that. Listen.
How can you even have a podcast?
I don't know,
man.
Sorry, what did they say?
How can you even have a podcast?
It was like 2 minutes.
It's an interesting thing about the podcast is we decided to.
Yeah.
That's how we have a podcast.
Which cartoon cat are you doing an impression of? I'm trying to figure it out. Nobody likes a Charlie.
Anyway,
in the box.
I thought that was fun, and you know, it's obviously Bluetooth is hard to do an interview with.
Yeah.
There
I
was
think
some
it would be
glitches.
even more fun with him in the studio. But what I appreciate about a guy like that is that, you know, Connor Carrick knows who he is, and Connor Carrick knows what he is. And I think this season, you know, in Jersey, they've got a guy in Tyler Dello running their analytics operations that's going to really change the way I think New Jersey plays hockey. It obviously changed the way that they went out and got players this year.
Yeah, it's a bit simplistic, but
sure. But I think it'll be interesting to see how this goes for him. And I think it'll be really interesting to see how that podcast goes for him, because I really think that is really, if he's doing that during the regular season, that's really stepping out on a limb for hockey.
And that's going to require like the approval of the New Jersey
Devils,
PR folks, and I just hope they don't kibosh that. Like, I hope they allow them to have some fun with that. Danny Green it up a little bit.
Yeah, well, Danny Green has never really been that controversial. He's just been candid about things, right?
He's just
and he's an interesting guy.
That's basically it.
You put Danny Green in front of a microphone, he's interesting. Connor Carrick seems the same.
I don't know if it was his podcast or another one, but when he talked about the whole Raptors parade, so good. So good. You hear him talk about Marc Gasol and just how wasted he was? Like, you could see.
It was great.
Whoever did it, I want to say it was Yahoo Canada Sports or Yahoo Sports Canada. They overlaid it with footage so that you know he's telling the truth. And you see Marc Gasol just sitting on stage going, "I'm drunk, man. I'm drunk." And he's saying this to Danny Green. He's literally sitting next to Justin Trudeau. He's sitting next to the Prime Minister of Canada just going, "I'm drunk." And at one point on one of the floats, he was just, you know how drunk people just do random things? He just bit Danny Green on the back. Just bit him.
I think you've done that to me a couple times.
Bit you?
Yeah, I'm sure you bit me, for sure.
Have I bit you?
Yeah. You also do this thing where if I get Steve drunk enough, he'll kiss his wife like a camel kisses.
Oh, and that's my favorite thing in the world. She hates it.
What is this?
The camel kiss.
What is that?
Well, because camels, it's really hard to do over audio, but like camels just have like sort of like
They have puckered lips all the time, right?
like a puckered but lazy lip. And so I won't.
So he'll just walk up to
If
her
you're watching
and
the YouTube thing, so my hand is her face, I'll just go, like smash my face.
Oh, you just kind of shove your mouth
Yeah.
into
Yeah,
her.
she really doesn't like it.
especially when
Which makes me do it a lot more.
Steve did it once with cake in his mouth too. It was great.
Oh.
It was awesome. It was great. So yeah. Anyway, Connor Carrick, that was awesome. Thank you for doing that, Connor Carrick. Hey, so
What you want to talk about?
well, do we want to talk about how fun the Leafs dressing room seems?
Sure.
I mean, it sure seems like a dressing room that licks that much ass must have a good time.
So this isn't real, is what?
Well,
Jesse,
what
some
the
things
report
happened
is.
while you were in
yeah,
Mexico.
Jesse, you missed a bunch, and I'm gonna read.
You're gonna read a fake thing,
I'm
right?
gonna read.
I'm gonna hope.
Hey, everyone who just realized the podcast was marked explicit. Right now is our ass-licking discussion.
That's right, and I'm looking for it. Igor Ozhiganov seems to have taken it down, which is interesting.
Oh, has he?
Yeah.
Interesting.
But I will. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm looking. But it originally was an Igor Ozhiganov tweet that was, I guess, translated.
I'm
Correct.
looking for it too.
That's not here.
Yeah, but like translated by him, a guy who speaks Russian.
Do you want me to read it?
You haven't?
Yeah,
How did
yeah.
you get it?
It's just on Google.
Oh, it's on the. Okay, and the pension plan puppets have it too.
No, the Yahoo Sports one is really good because they have the explanation as well.
Okay. Yeah,
Do you have it in front of you?
So does
Go
the
ahead.
Triple P, but
Go ahead.
yeah. So, okay, he didn't turn it into a picture. That's why I didn't see it. Okay, Igor Ozhiganov to Dima Irakulov. Anyway, it's so different overseas, and that means overseas over here. When you get to a locker room, it seems all the players are ass lickers that just wait for the coach to come and lick his ass. They run to him, laugh of his jokes, make up to him. In Russia, nobody talked to such a player. Now, apparently, this is out of context, was Ozhiganov was actually saying, according to Sergey on Twitter, is that players in Canada are far more eager to communicate with their coach and vice versa. In Russia, it's kind of taboo. The coach is God and should never be bothered. I like the ass licking better.
I mean, who doesn't, right? But this was my favorite non-controversy of the summer, I think. I don't know if it's going to get topped.
Who was it? Who's the one who wrote the ass licking thing out?
Igor Ozhiganov.
Yeah.
Igor Ozhiganov.
Well, Igor Ozhiganov was relaying it from an interview with someone else.
Yeah.
So maybe the other person, I don't remember who it was, maybe the other person mistranslated it or something, and Igor Ozhiganov, seeing it and understanding English, went, well, this'll play super good.
Yeah.
Just throws it up on Twitter, and it turns out it was just a game of broken ass-licking telephone.
You know, it's the best broken ass licking telephone I've ever heard.
So,
I have
are
to
we
say-
saying that Babcock's ass is dry?
Yeah.
It's not.
I can't even.
I mean, it's hockey season. It's not ass licking season. That's
No.
it. Now, he does talk about Mike Babcock in the article, though, and the pension plan puppets have lovingly taken this and translated it into context as much as possible. Now, so they asked him about. They call Mike Babcock the most expensive trainer in the world, and I think by trainer they mean coach, right? That's the
Yeah.
Russian equivalent. And he said, what's unique about Mike Babcock? And he said, well, dear, because he won everything possible in his career. There are nuances in his approach. Every day he will ask you, how are you and the family and so on. You don't walk past him. Mike knows how to build a homely atmosphere. As in, you talk to the coach. You don't walk past him. You talk to him. And they
So
said,
he wants to know how you're operating. that
next
day,
question,
you know?
do you know who Mike Commodore is?
Yes.
And he goes, yes, I heard about that. And Mike Commodore is a former Babcock player who Mike Babcock never played. And Mike Commodore, I think he gets drunk and tweets, right?
He must.
Well,
Have you seen this?
He's
Yeah,
tweeted
no,
some
but why
shitty
is this
things.
a question they asked him?
Well, because they're like, hey, did you like Babcock? And he goes, yes. And they
Hey,
go, but what about this
What
guy
about
who
this
does not?
one guy who you don't know who might hate him? Like, what kind of... That's not very fair.
I don't know.
Is that a fair question?
Well, it's Russia. So remember when they were remember in Finland when they're like, do you think that you will they asked the Winnipeg coach, like, do you think that you will make them your daddy?
Oh,
Like, they asked Paul Maurice, and he's like, "Whoa, we are not in North America."
Yeah, wait. I'm sorry. What?
They ask far more biting questions in Europe.
Well, biting and also like with the lost in translation.
Yeah, but Adam, you're a good interviewer. If you're talking to Connor Carrick, do you go up to him and say, "Hey, Mike Commodore hated Babcock. Do you hate Babcock? What do you think of that?"
Do the Devils lick ass? We should have said, "Hey, Connor, do the Devils lick ass?" Tell me about how Why'd you get traded out of Dallas? Were you relieved because it was just a team full of ass lickers? The common denominator here is Roman Polak.
That's why Jim Hill and the owner were so pissed off mid-season. There was just not enough ass going on.
His ass wasn't licked enough.
It's fucking
Jamie Benn and Tyler Sagan are just not eating enough ass here.
fucking horseshit that there's not enough ass lickers on the Dallas Stars. Jim Lights. Put it on a shirt.
So to be frank, yes. Now the thing is, to answer your question, Jesse, yes, you should ask that question. I mean, there's questions we probably could have asked Connor Carrick today, but I feel like I'd like to have Connor Carrick back on. Right?
Yeah.
Where, and Connor Carrick...
We also had him and then didn't have him like 3 times.
Yeah, exactly.
So preparation was difficult.
But we'd like to have, you want to develop a relationship with people so that they feel comfortable answering questions that are a little bit tough. Sort of like the Mitch Marner question was a bit of a tough one for him, even though I'm like, do you think Mitch Marner likes being a Leaf? That's all I said.
Yeah.
But in this context, it's okay because he's in Russia, man. So you can go, all right, let's go hard. Let's talk about all this crazy shit.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite things of the summer.
Oh, absolutely. Now,
the Russian who goes back to Russia and you get the weird translated.
It's always great.
So he said, Igor Ozhiganov says, yes, I heard about Mike Commodore. And then the interviewer says, have you heard his sayings about Mike Babcock? He called him a charlatan and a piece of shit. And he said,
now very completely different things.
Igor Ozhiganov said, it's hard for me to understand him being Mike Commodore. My own example and the example of Nikita Zaitsev, I can say that Mike Babcock is a very decent person. Why did Commodore say such things? I do not know. And then so the interviewer continues, and this is he's really trying to. And he said Babcock kicked him off the team twice. Perhaps this is still the case. And Igor Ozhiganov says this: there are such cases when a player intersects with a coach in different teams, like himself. He mentions himself with a former CSKA and current coach in Akbar. So he's playing for the same coach that he played for CSKA.
Yes, but not in his last year.
Yes.
I was confused by that too.
Yeah, and I think they're friends. And the opposite situation happens. This is a normal occurrence. Looks like Commodore just didn't suit Babcock. But he did not give a shit about him to make such statements. And in fact, that Mike changed him and didn't send him to the AHL.
You know what he sounds like? Like
what?
the English translated South Park Chin Pokemon cartoon. Like, Juju Nesbys do not have the heart for such endeavors. It's just the lost in translation. It doesn't quite work. You don't realize how much you talk, and colloquialisms, which is the hardest word in the world, they just don't translate. And we have them, they have them. And when you have a conversation and you're translating both, it's just nonsense.
Yeah. Basically. Well, it's like when Igor Ozhiganov says, well, dear. well, dear. And the last question, again, Commodore and Babcock. Is there a coach in your career that you would like to say the same words as Commodore about Babcock? And Ozhiganov says, yes, but I won't name him.
Yes, and it's pretty clearly the coach who healthy scratched him in the KHL 2 years ago.
Yeah. So, anyway, very, very interesting. It was very funny, and it's a shame that it's not true.
I wanted so badly. We could have rode this into training camp.
That could have been Hall of Fame hockey quote all time. It really is.
If Babcock has an ounce of humor, he will open training camp with the media with, hey, what's up, ass lickers?
I hope he does.
I really want him to.
So, Jesse... In the time that we've in between podcasts, Jesse went to Mexico.
He did. Yeah, I did.
Jesse,
yes.
I just want to know how your trip was, man. This is the first I've seen you.
Oh my God, it was fantastic. I've never been to South America. and spent a lot of time on the beach.
Technically, it's North America,
I
so
was
you
about
still
to
haven't
say-
been to South America. There's only 3 countries in North America. That's
Still
one of them.
haven't been to South America,
yeah.
but I went
That
to a
remains
lower
true.
went to a lower part of North America.
There you go.
It was great. Spent a lot of
You
time
went
on
to
the beach.
the place where the asses are licked, maybe. It's the booty part, right?
You know, maybe it.
I was like, I
'cause
don't
it's the bottom
understand
of North
that.
America.
Yeah,
I get it.
Come
Maybe
on,
there's
it
a
was a
weird
stretch.
Spanish translation where they talk about ass licking.
Could be.
I don't know. I
Could
don't
be.
know. But we stayed in a jungle one night, and then we stayed on the beach another night on a tent, and ate a lot of guacamole.
Yeah.
There's a lot of avocado down there. I don't know if you know this.
It's amazing.
Had-
Good
heard that.
time. Rode bikes through Tulum, which is great. That's where we stayed in the city of Tulum.
Oh, okay. I was
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
don't know that.
You seem to be like eating on the beach and drinking.
Yeah, that's all I did. I had margaritas and mojitos on the beach, and that's it.
Are the margaritas better?
Yes, everything is better. Everything, because it's not Mexican food. It's food. So it's
Right. Yeah.
it is better. Like they have mezcal instead of tequila. Like it's the higher end of the tequila. It's like a tequila,
Oh.
except fancier.
Oh, okay,
It's
okay.
made with I
it's
forget what it's made
smoky.
with.
It's good.
Yeah, it's a smoky one. So you have mezcal mojitos, and that's mezcal in your margaritas. It's fantastic. It's an experience, and I recommend everyone do it.
All right.
Yeah, because we didn't do the the Cancun resort thing, because that's like the all you can eat inclusive things. That's not fun.
So we
yeah,
freaked Jesse out the day he left because he goes on the air. He's like, I'm going to Mexico today, and TJ and I look at each other like, oh, have fun. And it was funny because like my experience in Mexico was completely different.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know you'd been.
I did the
don't wanna do that.
which I never should have done. But
No.
I think it was 23, and I was going with my girlfriend, and it's like you get what you can. And
You did 23-year-old all-inclusive? Were you
Well, yeah.
the most bored people?
well, no, like all inclusives aren't just for old people. You ever been to one?
no.
There's a lot of young people.
It's
on
mainly
all-inclusives.
for young people and like
Oh.
It's mainly for like partiers who want to go and like, hey, I'm getting drunk drinking $2 tequila or free tequila shots
Yeah.
because all inclusive. We're gonna hook up with everyone.
There's
so
guys
yes.
that bring their own Big Bubba things from like 7-Eleven.
Right, and you fill it up at the all inclusive and the buffet, and that's what you do.
Yeah.
And you go and party.
What?
And you don't pay for anything.
So we did the couples kind of resort thing where we went to Tulum, which is like a tourist town, and avoided Adam's mess.
Oh
that
my God! Because
he
you get
did.
off the fucking plane, and the first thing you get before you even get your bags is somebody trying to sell you a timeshare, and all along the way, it's just fucking timeshare. Hey, my friend, timeshare, and
Like you're going to just buy that on a whim?
people do.
Yeah.
And there are hundreds of
You
salespeople
ever
at
seen
the
South
airport.
Park?
Oh, yes, yes. And you're just trapped.
Aspen. Stand
I own a
there.
little place in Aspen. Whoa. Your friend, that was Adam in the airport.
Yeah.
Whoa.
and then of course like there's guys with like assault rifles at the airport and stuff and
Oh, cool.
yeah, no, but I mean it was different because I was in Puerto Vallarta.
Well, Adam, was it actually an assault rifle? I think we need to get caught up in the semantics of what isn't.
Was
Is it
it
assault?
30 to 50 wild hogs
He could have
that he was
I'm glad
holding?
you didn't miss that.
I did catch that.
How am I to kill 30 to 50 wild hogs when my children are running around?
in 3 to 5 minutes. It's so specific. It's so specific.
I didn't miss that one.
Yeah.
No, that was fun.
And that was funny.
Did a gun write this?
How did the gun learn Twitter?
It's true.
Oh
It's a
my
Russian
God.
Well, dear.
Did the gun lick ass?
How do you lick
Oh my
ass
God.
of 30 to 50 feral hogs?
So, Adam, you did an hour away from us where all the partiers are.
Oh my God! Well,
Yeah.
and it's the thing is that it's so I hated it because they slap a wristband on you. You're with a bunch of fucking strangers who are already lit, like they're already fucked up, and then you go, and then you're bust to the resort, and then all they do is drink and pee in the pool. That's it. And so
Yeah,
I'm like I would never do this again. Never. It sucked. You're in a prison. Like you can't leave the resort.
Yeah.
And it was like this is awful. I hated this.
You would have loved how we did it, where we go, we biked through the town,
I would
and
love
like
that.
we had bicycles. Yeah, it was great. Then we stayed in the ocean, not in any weird resort.
See,
yeah.
I needed an adventure.
Yeah, and like from getting
adventure.
from the airport to our resort, we have a private taxi because we're going like an hour away from the airport, not to in a big van with all the partiers to Puerto Vallarta.
And-
Or with some guy from St. Louis who just explains all the differences between the place where where you live in St. Louis.
Yes.
we happened to be on the Fort McMurray flight. So yeah, so we had the rig guys who are ready to fucking party. And I don't know if you don't know what I'm talking
welcome
about.
to Mexico. Where do I find Coke?
Hey, cocaína.
Cocaine.
Is that?
Yeah.
Oh God.
It's not that.
You put a little stank on everything now.
Gracias.
There it is.
It's funny that that we were on that. If you don't know what I'm talking about, if you're not from Canada, you probably wouldn't understand this. But in northern Alberta, that's where all of our oil sands are, and that's a significant industry, a significant engine of our economy for the entire country. And so a lot of guys are up there, and it's cold, and it's expensive. And they're working like 30 days in a row, and then at the end of that 30 days, they'll be like, "Okay, where can I go for $200?" And literally, it's $200 to go from there to like Vegas because there's so many flights back and forth. And another cheaper destination is Mexico. So we were on a party. We were in a silo of party. Like we were in a little tube of party, like people who were just ready to explode. So I think it was like we were expecting, I guess, to be like let's gear down. It's vacation, and these guys are like, "What's that?" Woo! And they, to be fair, they were all a blast. Like it was really funny, but it was a lot of energy, man.
Come on, I've blown all my money on off-road vehicles, and I'm going to blow the rest of it on this trip. Let's go! Sorry, I know a few people who have been to Fort Mac.
So our plane ride down, it was a similar experience except the complete opposite. So we were on the same half of our flight. It was one of the giant planes, but half of our flight was taken up by a family who was going back to Mexico to celebrate their grandmother's 75th birthday.
Wow!
So they were just rowdy, and the stewardess at the beginning, they're like, "We have a small problem with our alcohol. It wasn't packed onto this plane," and everyone was like, "No, you didn't. You just don't want to serve this giant group of Mexicans all this alcohol on this plane." And then one of the family members yelled at them, "You just don't want to serve us alcohol!" And they're all rowdy, but it was fun rowdy because it's just a giant family having fun on a plane.
That's
We're all cousins.
They
and
weren't like rioting.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah, and they were wearing T-shirts, and on the back had 75, and every one of their names was on it, and it spelled out 75. So it was very cute, but they were super rowdy the entire time.
See, now that's the kind of family I want to have.
Right?
That's awesome. That's amazing.
They just don't want to serve us. It's not something I don't think any of my aunts or uncles have ever yelled.
It's like, oh, all the rest of the food is here, but the alcohol's not.
That's weird. Oh, we forgot it. Whoa, it's the thing we make the most money on, and we forgot it. Okay,
We
sure.
It's just like, gosh, some days you just make a mistake. I don't think so.
Oopsies poopsies.
Yeah, but your plane was the opposite of the party.
Well, and again, the guys were fun, rowdy, but it was pretty extreme. So, I think it was just that maybe it wasn't everybody else's problem. We were the problem. We were the ones who were expecting something different, and then it turned out not to be the case. You know what I mean?
Oh,
but anyway,
yeah, you guys are the guys who screwed up.
Yeah, exactly. We took the party tube to Puerto Vallarta, man. It's get on board or not.
All right.
But yeah, I'm glad you had a good time, man.
Yeah, thank you.
Now you, Steve, are going to Washington, right?
Florida first.
Florida first.
Florida for 5
Florida?
days. I'm going to Florida.
I didn't know that.
I've never been to Florida.
You've never been to
Adam
Florida?
has so
Never
many
been to Florida.
tips on Florida.
I know, man.
He's a frequent flyer.
Where in Florida?
Orlando, because we're going to go to
doing Disney World?
Harry Potter World.
Oh.
You're going to Disney, though, right?
I don't think so. I think
You're
we're
not
just
going to Disney
doing-
World.
doing Universal. I don't think so. Hey, my wife's the Disney nut. Leave that up to her. I don't care.
You are going to go all the way to Orlando and not go to Disney
We're going
World.
to do other things.
You guys are nuts. You're
Yeah,
nuts.
you should.
You're
Apparently
absolutely
we're
nuts.
nuts.
You've lost your mind.
But I want to go to Hogsmeade.
No. Well, I mean, yeah, that
And Diagon Alley.
apparently Harry Potter World's great. But why wouldn't you go to Disney World too?
Maybe we are going to Disney World.
You-
That is
No, I don't think you can do both. Because Universal's up on the map a little.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
And then if
I
you
don't
do,
know. You
can't do it
if
the
you
same
do
day.
Disney World, you need 3 days of Disney World.
Yes, you do.
If you do
3?
yeah, you can't do it in one day.
I
No.
did Disneyland in one day.
You could do
No, it's not the
that's
same.
different.
No. You need 3 different days of Disney World just to do everything.
Yeah.
It's so awesome.
At least,
Yeah.
well, now with Star Wars Land, now it's 4 because they've
Now I
got
feel like I'm getting
they've
shown
got
at.
Disney World, like the Magic Kingdom. They've got Epcot. They've
Yeah.
got the Animal Kingdom, and now the Star Wars thing too. And they had the ESPN Wide
What's
World
the,
Sports. but I think that's
Tomorrowland?
gone. Tomorrowland.
Yeah.
Yes.
Did you mention that? Oh.
I think that's part of Epcot, isn't it?
Yes. It's in there, but that's my favorite one.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah,
it's really
it's
cool.
awesome.
Yo, and that's the thing. Like we stayed there, and you could stay in the music resort or the movie resort, and then there's like memorabilia on the walls and stuff like that, and it's really neat. But you at least should see the Magic Kingdom while you're there. You have to see the Magic Kingdom.
I'll talk to Mrs.
You have
Dangle.
to go see the dancing bears that are animatronic that are from like 70 years ago, and you're like, how did this even happen?
That
The Hall
sounds terrifying.
of Presidents. I'm sure they've added Donald Trump to that by now.
It's also it's off season right now. Like everything in the South is off. Like when we went to Mexico, it's off season because everybody goes there in the winter. So like everything was open,
Right.
And like there's no tourists there. So if you go now, it'll be perfect.
Yeah.
I know.
'Cause no one's going there.
Everyone's like, wait a sec, like no one goes there now, and it's going to be really hot.
That's
I'm
the
like,
best
you're
time.
selling this to me,
Right.
You-
I think I've talked about it on the show before. I remember we had a conversation once about like how could you not want to live in that sort of heat? And there are a bunch of people from like Orlando and Tampa and Sunrise and like Miami, that area.
We're like, actually,
Actually, you can't go outside for 2 months of the year. And Caprice and I were in Tampa, I think 2 years ago or 3 years ago in August, because my parents have a tiny little place near there where they've retired to. And so you get to go down, stay for free. It's the opposite. My parents aren't there; they're up here.
Yeah.
And every single afternoon, first off, it's always 35 degrees, and the humidity's at 1,000,000%. So every afternoon, you get the biggest thunderstorm you've ever seen in your entire life.
Oh, good.
And the great thing is you're beside the ocean. And in Orlando, I don't even think they're beside the ocean though, right? Like it's more inland, so it's just hot.
I want to emphasize how little research I've done for this venture. I literally just want to go to Harry Potter World. That's all I want to do.
'Kay.
And everything else is
But you
secondary.
must go to Magic Kingdom.
Yeah, okay, maybe.
Whatever you're doing, cancel plans. You must go to Magic Kingdom.
You're going to try to find a beach.
Well, yeah, you can do that.
Orlando's very inland.
Yeah.
And then we come home, and then less than a week later, then I go to Washington.
Okay, and what are you doing in Washington?
Doing a book signing with Russian Machine Never Breaks.
That's amazing.
They are. We're doing one more page books, which I think is technically in Virginia, and then later that day we're gonna have a party.
Cool. Well,
Where?
and also when
I
Steve
think it's
comes
called
back,
Walters.
Okay.
Gotta look
when
it up.
Steve comes back,
Yes.
that week there will be, we think, almost confirmed, and I'm just going to tell you that it's happening. We
yes.
can't tell you exactly what's happening, but there will be an event that week.
A podcast
Event.
that is live.
Yes, we're not going to reveal who with whom, the times, the dates, the
That's
details,
the week
whatever.
of the 26th.
That's
of August?
correct. Yeah. In fact, might circle the
Before
29th on my calendar if I were you.
And Durham and Durhamish folks, I'm going to be doing I'll post about it on Twitter 1,000 times. But I'm doing a signing at a library in Oshawa on August 22nd.
Pet peeve.
What?
Why can't we ever do events on Fridays? You guys?
Well, that one we chose not to because it's the long weekend and everybody would be out of the town.
No. That
Also-
makes it even better.
And I have a wedding to go to that weegend too.
Damn it.
So
Oh, do you have a long weekend
my cousin Mike, who I love dearly. But long weekend weddings, man.
Are you gonna Mike, he might have to hear
No,
it.
man, Mike.
What's worse, long weekend wedding or my neighbor in a few weeks is going to a cash bar wedding?
I almost had a cash bar wedding.
What?
Yeah.
I would have charged to be MC.
It was gonna be like a tuning bar.
No.
No.
F
No.
that.
No.
F that.
You're a bad friend if you do
Yeah.
that.
Really?
Yeah, I'm not
Trash.
coming.
Oh man. It's I don't know. I don't see the big deal of it, but
Yeah, I've been to lots of weddings. I don't need to
I
see
don't need
another
to
one.
see yours.
Yeah.
no.
yeah, I actually am getting to that point. I'm sort of like I've seen a lot. I don't,
Oh, you're that guy.
Well, it's sort of an exhausting process. Although with Mike's wedding, I'm really excited because my cousin Mike has like worked hard to get to where he's at, and this woman he's marrying is great, and he struggled in the past. So this is one of those weddings you're like, damn, I'm so freaking happy to see where
proud
you're
of
at.
you.
Right.
Yeah. This is a cousin I'm really proud of. So man, I think this one I'll suck it up for this one. But if I'm at the point now with weddings where unless it was like Jesse,
Right.
like unless it's a close friend,
Someone
I'm probably not
super
going to go.
important. So I still really like weddings, big fan. But my dad like can't stand them.
I hate 'em.
And like
I'm not your dad.
He like wants to go to like 70 or doesn't want to go to like 75% of them, and I think it's because he's waspy and married into an Italian family. So it's like every year there's like 2 or 3,
Yeah.
and it's gotten to the point where he's like,
whose cousin is
who's
this?
Who's this? I don't know. I don't know.
Well,
who that is.
and every Italian wedding is minimum 400 people.
It's bananas.
It's crazy. It's like it's literally like a concert coming to town.
Basically, yes.
Yeah, no, I'm pumped about this wedding. This one's I've had this circled on my calendar for a while. So long weekend or not, I'm pretty pumped to be at this one.
That's fun.
I probably should have said where that Oshawa thing is.
Oh, yeah.
Oshawa Public Library, McLaughlin branch. That's 65 Bagot Street. I'm going to go with Bagot Street in Oshawa. August 22nd, 6 p.m.
Nice.
There we go.
There's still your book is still available at the Toronto Eaton Centre. I saw it there yesterday, last night.
Oh,
Yes.
I signed a bunch of copies in the Oshawa Town Center yesterday.
Fun.
So if you
Just
want to go
randomly?
pick up an autograph, if you want to pick up an autograph book, there's a bunch in the store.
Did you walk into the store and just start signing your books?
Well, you got to ask. It's their property. I just wrote it. Like,
It's your
someone asked
book.
me that, and I'm like, no, I couldn't just.
Why not?
Well, because once I sign it, they can't return the book.
Oh.
So it would be a jerk move to just be like, ha ha, can't return it.
Who returns books?
Like, like for the book signings,
Yeah.
what they do is they just order way too many books just in case. And then all the ones they don't sell, they just give back.
The store can't return it once you sign. Oh, I thought you meant the person who buys it can't return it.
Oh,
I was like,
I
that's
assumed they
called the
could.
library if you're returning a book.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, I don't. They probably could.
You could probably return it. Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know.
That's a good question. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, that makes sense that the store can't return it.
Yeah, no,
Yes,
no.
yes.
It's about the store. So you got to get permission, and then they put on the little sticker. It's a little sticker. Yeah.
Little sticker that says signed.
Jesse,
Mitch Marner hasn't signed yet, guys.
Yeah. Okay. No,
That's,
no. Well, no.
that's where we're at.
Well, so here's. I just wanted to ask how Jesse's vacation was, but also
I had fun with it.
I want to know
Yes.
if you saw this while you were gone.
Okay. I'm
So this
excited.
comes from football, but because training camp's on, finally,
I did see training camp started.
Stephen A. Smith and the other guy, and then Skip and Shannon.
Kellerman?
Yeah,
Why?
Max Kellerman, former rapper.
Oh, my God. I forgot about that.
Finally, they've stopped talking about basketball because
Aw.
because it's like, okay, enough, right? Like it's
There's no
mid-July,
news.
stop it.
Yeah.
But what they are talking about is what the NFL season is going to look like. And Antonio Brown. Did you see this story?
No, I'm excited.
Oh boy. Okay, so Antonio Brown. Full disclosure, I'm heartbroken that he's not a Steeler anymore, but he seemed in the last couple
not?
years to be losing his mind. No, he's a Raider now because
okay.
he didn't want to be with the Steelers. And you know what? Ben Roethlisberger didn't help because he's got his own radio show in Pittsburgh. And he would call out Antonio Brown on his own radio show in Pittsburgh.
Does he have his own radio show? I didn't know that.
Dude, yeah,
an
he's got
active
a
quarterback?
pregame show and like a Sunday night show. It's weird.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I think it's I guess it's a pregame Sunday night show. Yeah, that would make sense.
yeah,
So
yeah.
he's got his own show. It's very strange. So there were a couple times last year where he pissed off his teammates by saying stuff on the show that
It's
he
like
shouldn't
if
have.
Austin Matthews hosted the pregame show
Right.
That'd be
for the
insane.
Leafs.
It'd be
Leafs
insane.
Radio Network. Here's Austin Matthews.
And yeah,
Well, I think
And-
I'm going to be pretty good tonight.
After Austin Matthews comes Stormin' Norman Rumack.
Yeah,
right.
On the what?
Yeah. So anyway, it pissed him off, and rightfully so. But Antonio's also. He's literally a character from Ballers, right? Like he is that football guy who makes big money, spends big, and he's 31, and he's the best receiver of the last decade by far, probably one of the top 5 all time. He's incredible.
I believe you.
But the Steelers had to basically trade him for nothing because he wanted out. They couldn't agree on anything, and so they basically gave him to the Raiders for like a second and a fifth. It's awful. It was an awful trade, and it sucked, and everything sucked. Now, one of the things that athletes do is they get in those cryo tanks, right?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
You know, where it cools down the muscles, and I think it helps with regeneration. I'm not really sure the science behind it.
Yes. Yeah. Basically, yeah. Makes you feel good if you get hurt.
And I don't know if you've seen Antonio Brown's body, but it's perfect. He has the perfect body.
Sure it is. It's not Connor Carrick level, but I'm sure it's close.
Except that when Antonio Brown got into the cryo freezer thing, he didn't wear proper footwear. So he hasn't been at training camp for a week.
Oh, no.
Because his feet are frostbitten.
Oh, gosh.
Oh, shit.
A wide receiver whose feet are frostbitten. And that's because he knew the regulations. He's done it before. He just didn't put them on because Antonio Brown, man. And I got to show you
What's the
a picture.
recovery time? I don't want to
Oh,
see the
no.
I don't
Did
want
he
to
post
see
a
that.
picture?
Oh, yeah.
I kind of want to see it.
You have got to see this. It's absolutely...
Is he going to be ready for the season?
They don't know. And so here...
I have my,
so he put this up on his Instagram.
Oh,
Ow!
gosh,
Okay,
yeah.
that's not as bad as I thought it was going to
Yeah.
be, but oh,
Yeah, so basically
my
the entire
God.
bottom of his foot is falling off. It's just an entire layer of skin dead.
What an idiot.
Yeah, what an idiot, right?
Oh,
now,
my.
I'm
if
sorry,
Steelers-
but you're an idiot for doing that. You're a
you're-
professional athlete.
Yeah.
Take care of stuff, like your body.
And if
Wow.
you're a Steeler fan, this isn't the first time you've been like, Antonio, why do you have to be such an idiot? Come on, man, you're Antonio Brown. Anyway,
Oh, gosh.
I don't know if I'd post that. I don't know if I would post that. Like, there's a lot riding on the. He's smiling in the picture at very least.
But it's carelessness.
yeah, it's stupidity. Pure stupidity. There's no other way around it.
Oh my God!
Yeah,
well, no,
so-
it's literally. It's the reason it's cold is because of liquid nitrogen.
Yeah. You're freezing yourself.
Yes, like for a minute or something like that. Holy shit!
I want to continue this.
Oh,
there's more.
Because the story's not ending. So this is a story I think we're going to pay attention to because we love a little drama, especially sports drama.
And I have my fantasy football draft coming up in 2 Sundays from now. So
Yeah.
I'm very,
Same.
very interested in this.
Yep.
So according to Michael Silver,
I gotta pick Doug Flutie.
and Michael Silver is a Sports Illustrated reporter who's been there for 30 years. Said, even before, and this is a bit of a long thread, but stay with me, okay? He said, even before suffering bizarre injuries on his feet, Antonio Brown alarmed Raiders coaches and teammates by rallying against the NFL's enhanced enforcement of helmet regulations, a policy change which will likely force the star receiver to switch to a new helmet. Brown's vocal resistance to the mandate both during OTAs and shortly after his arrival in Napa, California for training camp has continued to be a disconnect with the team that acquired the 7-time Pro Bowler from the Pittsburgh Steelers in March. According to 4 sources familiar with Brown's current absence from camp, which date back to last week, Raiders coaches and players are concerned that the receiver's unhappiness regarding the helmet issue may play a role in his decision to stay away from Napa. Brown initially left to seek additional medical opinions on his frostbitten feet. Before leaving, he pushed back for a 3rd time against the league's prohibition of the helmet model he's worn his entire career. His continued frustration around the situation has created a buzz among teammates and coaches, one of whom referred to the saga as honestly the most insane thing I've ever heard. I don't know why it's so important to him. It doesn't make any sense. The pushback began in May. The receiver was informed by the Raiders that the NFL had officially eliminated the 1-year grace period for the certain helmet models, including the one worn by him, which had fallen short in laboratory testing. This meant that Brown and 31 other players who finished the 2018 season on NFL rosters, including quarterbacks Brady and Rodgers, would have to switch to approved helmets. On a conference call with reporters, Jeff Miller, the NFL's executive VP of Safety and Initiatives, said the any team found to have known about a player wearing a banned helmet or to have facilitated the use of one would be subject to league discipline. Each team's equipment manager has been instructed to remove all banned helmets. All of this was conveyed to Brown at the team's training facility a few days before the start of Phase 3 OTAs, and the first-time players who are allowed to wear helmets are wearing them on all on-field workouts. He showed up to the first OTA, however, he requested his old helmet after being told to wear the approved model. Witnesses say he loudly voiced his displeasure, complaining QBs such as Brady and Rodgers were not being subjected. Shortly thereafter, he stormed out of the facility. Later that day, Raiders officials found video footage of Rodgers during Green Bay Packers OTA session wearing the approved helmet. The following day, Brown showed up and acted like nothing had happened, accepting the new helmet from the equipment manager without protest and completing the workout. However, sometime in the next couple of weeks, he once again tried to take the old helmet on the field, which he had. So he had an old helmet at home. He'd had it reprinted with Raiders silver and black colors.
knew it.
He was told the helmet was not allowed, and once again, he said, okay, fine, I'll wear the new one. Before he arrived at training camp last month, coaches and teammates believed the issue had been resolved, but Brown, who had practiced on his tender feet for only 2 days before leaving to seek another opinion, tried yet again to seek his old helmet on the field, ultimately being told by officials to remove it. He's still freaking out about it, says one Rangers player. He hasn't been here for a while and nobody knows where he's at. And this continues. This is a 20-tweet thread. But this is something we got to keep an eye on.
I just want to know why.
I don't know.
Okay.
Does the helmet give you special catching powers?
Yes. In his mind, yes.
Yeah,
and
probably.
It's a different version of a conversation that we've had 1,000 times with 1,000 athletes across all kinds of sports. Well, not 1,000 athletes. Maybe a few dozen.
The special ones.
The truly special ones. And I always get people saying like this craziness, like this unreasonable drive is what makes him great. I hate when people say, "Oh, it's what makes him great."
Yeah.
Like, there's this subgenre of literature, just studying the elite of the elite in their respective fields.
You mean the field that Malcolm Gladwell started with Outliers, and then it's kind of trickled down into everybody doing parodies of that?
I don't know. Yeah, maybe, but like I find this stuff fascinating. As a study of the mind, but there's hordes of people who are like, this is how I will now live my life. Yeah, this is the way you're supposed to think. And I'm just like, listen, God bless Gary Vaynerchuk and stuff.
Yeah.
But I'm so sick of, here's another Gary Vaynerchuk video with some font underneath, and this is how I will live my life now. No, it's supposed to be like a motivator for like when you're down in the dumps or something, and hey, pick yourself up, and all this uber motivational stuff. Who's that guy who all he does is post videos of him like walking without a shirt and talking aggressively about how you're a bum and a loser and you should
Eric Thomas?
I don't know.
On Monday, I grind. On Tuesday, I grind.
What are you doing on the couch, piece of shit?
Yeah.
And I'm just like,
Eric Thomas is actually really. You should listen to him. He's interesting.
For sure,
But it's
interesting.
But he's like, if I'm awake, I'm grinding.
There's a huge difference to me between interesting and life coach. Like that's how I am now. I just follow. You know what? Antonio Brown, like there are people, I'm sure, who are like, you know what? Antonio Brown will not buckle on this helmet thing, so I'm not going to buckle on, hey, tomorrow in my office, they're going to switch the staplers, and I'm going to hold I'm just going to protest. I'm just going to sit on top of my desk, holding the stapler above my head, because this will not stay. Dude, you're not Antonio Brown.
Yep.
You're not.
Yep.
Sorry.
Well, the last 3 tweets of this are interesting, and I'll go through them quickly. Since joining the Raiders, Brown has frustrated his new bosses by showing up late to numerous meetings and often appearing unfocused. According to witnesses, he typically glances at the screens of several tablets and his smartphone during the meetings, distracting himself by engaging in activities such as perusing his bank account and liking photos on Instagram. So, still according to one source, the meeting thing isn't that bad, but the feet, helmet, and going dark are a bit of an issue. Damn, dude.
The feet.
The feet.
The feet are a bit of an issue. Like, what a ridiculous story. But you know what? He's great. And he's one of the greatest of all time. Hey, maybe the secret to his greatness is burning his feet with ice.
He just wanted to be more extreme, I guess.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm very excited for this story.
I don't need safety gloves because I'm Homer Simpson. Like, that's what that reminds me of. Oh, I don't need proper shoes for the cold chamber because I'm Antonio and Frostbite.
Jesse, what did you just send me?
I sent you the guy that Steve is talking about. His name is David Goggins, and he exercises with no shirt on, and he yells at you for not being motivated enough because you can't out-exercise him.
Are you ready for this?
Yeah. You're not going to out-exercise me. I get up at 5.
You want to hear?
And I go to bed at friggin'
It's something.
4.
Headphones, Steve.
Oh, I don't want to listen to him yell at me again.
I gotta find out which one of these is the computer program, though. It's really sometimes.
You know why you don't know which one is the computer program?
think it's this one.
Because I know, and I've been up since 5, and I've been grinding on the software.
I've been grinding. So this is a different guy than Eric Thomas. By the way, you should check out Eric Thomas. But here's David Goggins. Goggins?
I don't know.
Okay.
No, it's a hot motherfucker. Nice heat wave. Mother Nature's a pissed off motherfucker, but guess what? So am I. So who gives a fuck? Today I was running, and this guy passes me in the car. And it's about 100 degrees out here, 70% humidity. And the guy comes back around, looks at me. He pulls his car by me and
This
says,
did not happen.
"Why the fuck are you out here?" I said, "Because you're not."
You don't know that.
Sometimes your motivation needs to be because no one else wants to fucking do it. We need doctors. We need fucking lawyers. We need dentists. We need teachers. We also need fucking savages. This message I do is not for fucking everybody. So I want to see that soft bullshit about, do you have sunscreen on? This message is dangerous. It's too hot. I'm not asking you to fucking be like me. Do you? Stay hard.
Can I just say something? Please, everyone out there, wear sunscreen.
No.
Yes.
Okay.
It's
How do we
very
go from-
important.
What's that like? What's that like? To the graduating class of whatever year it is, wear sunscreen. And now in 2019, fuck sunscreen. You wear sunscreen, you're soft.
Please, wear
Don't you
sunscreen.
see me in my easy to carry running water bottle?
Now-
I know my shit.
You don't want to get skin cancer.
Oh
It's
my
not
God.
fun.
But do you not? All right, now, Steve, since you're the one on the show who's very good at impressions,
Yes.
I have the David Goggins. So he gave a speech for a minute during that video, but that does not include the 3 paragraphs that he wrote underneath the video.
Oh my
So
God.
I'm thinking that in the David Goggins level of intensity, you ought to read the Instagram caption underneath this video. At David Goggins, by the way, if you want to follow
my
him and be a
God.
savage yourself.
Yeah.
we
all
need dentists, but we also need
Savages who get skin cancer and die early.
Yeah, put that on the resume.
What's more important than you being a doctor? You being a savage.
Going for a fucking run, that's what.
in 100-degree weather.
70% humidity.
It says here you worked at Harvey's for 2 years, and also that you've been a savage for 8. Who doesn't wear sunscreen? Can you take us through that?
All right.
If you are looking for soft, feel-good messages, maybe you should check out @softmotherfucker, as you aren't going to find them here. No one wants to see comments asking whether I'm wearing sunscreen or saying it is too hot and dangerous to be running in this heat. That was very proper, sir.
Yeah.
It is too hot and dangerous to be running in this heat. Or do you do anything other than work out? Those of you who get my message understand. This is such a key thing of the mind manipulation these guys do. We understand.
Oh, you don't get it.
Yeah, they don't get it. You get it. You understand my shouting. They don't. Whoever they are. Those of you who get my message understand it is about being better and getting better. It's not, all caps, it's not about being like me. I am not encouraging you to go out, scorch your ass in the fucking heat. And these are the things I do to get better and push my personal limits. I am that motherfucker who looks at the weather for the worst days, and while most people are avoiding them, I am running towards them. Yeah, okay, I want to see you repost this during hurricane season there, Dave. I am asking whether you have 30 minutes or whatever it takes in your day to push yourself to get better, to do what you don't want to do, to push your perceived limits. You know what I don't want to do? Read 5 paragraphs under an Instagram post.
Keep going.
A lot of other people, and I have also talked about getting comfortable being uncomfortable. I want to apologize for that, as it isn't even about being uncomfortable for most people. It is simply about not being lazy. If 30 minutes or an hour is uncomfortable, while it may not be fun, it is a responsibility
That's a good lesson.
we have to ourselves.
There you go.
I agree.
Totally.
But they're not sunscreen thing.
Don't be lazy, but wear sunscreen.
Totally. None of us truly want to do it.
Yeah.
But it is those people who do it when they don't want to. When they don't want to. This is too much, Dave!
You separate themselves from everyone else.
Thank you. Yeah, blah, blah, blah.
The softer
you are on yourself, inevitably, the softer you will become. Any one of us can be a savage. But you just have to be willing to do what others don't want to do. Stay hard! Jesus, actual Lord.
He also looks a little malnutrition. It looks like he hasn't been eating. He doesn't look healthy.
Yeah, like
Well, here's what he had to
yeah,
say.
well, Jesse, that's maybe you ought to follow at soft motherfucker.
I'm sorry. I'm
Hold on.
soft.
Hold on. David's got more to say, guys.
So the other day I got an email from this lady.
No, you didn't.
She truly enjoyed my book, but as she read it, she thought I was just crazy. So after she read it, she put the book down and started living her normal life. Just going back paying bills, going back to work, complaining about shit. A few days later, she has time to think about the book, and it scared her. She thought, well, maybe this guy isn't crazy. And that's what scared her the most. Maybe he's here trying to show us human potential, what we're all capable of doing. A lot of people like to put titles on other people who are doing extraordinary things. It makes them feel better about themselves. Gives them a get out of jail free card. I'm not crazy, I'm just not like you. In sports, there's a thing out there called load management.
Oh.
A lot of us like to load manage our lives. When you do that, you're gonna find yourself right at normal. Get off that, stay hard.
He's not a fan of quiet. Jesse, what did you just send me?
Another video. I don't know if you want to take a look.
Oh, no. So David has posted a video of a toe.
It's his toe.
It's his toe, and he's cutting
And it's the best! The best toe!
About what you're going through in life, what kind of pain you're feeling, or anything else. It comes down to how bad you want it. You know, that.
I want you to know what he's doing in this video before you watch it. He's poking
Sensitive content.
He's poking his toe with a safety pin because he's letting blood out of it.
Oh, I've done that.
That's really what life's all about. It's how bad you want it. People don't really understand what you're going through. They may think that you're nuts or you're crazy. No one's going to hand you shit in life. That's one thing I realized a long time ago. A lot of times I spent a lot of hours in my room just trying to heal up my wounds just to get back after it again the next fucking day. You can't visit this world. I used to come and visit this fucking world and think that was going to be enough. Maybe visit it for a couple days, a week, maybe a month, like a boot camp or something like that. You feel good about yourself. But guess what happens? All that shit goes away.
What the fuck is he
and
doing?
You try to live in that moment for as long as you can.
He's poking his
That
toe.
moment is just a feeling. It does absolutely nothing.
Why is he poking the
for
skin, not the nail?
longevity-wise.
He's poking it because it's a blister on the side of his big toe, and he's letting the blood out of the blister. Now, he only needs to poke it a few times, but he continues to poke it.
He continues just to prod
So
away at
he's
his
making
skin.
it worse. Like, you can poke it and squeeze the blood out, and that I've done. Mm-hmm. But
It's a blister, yeah.
you don't need to. He's poked it probably 15 times since we started.
This entire time he's been talking, he's been stabbing his foot.
And stay focused. No one gives a fuck about what you're going through.
No one gives a fuck. Let me poke the shit out of my toe.
No one gives a fuck. Now, give me validation for mutilating my foot.
Also, ass licking. Let's talk about it.
No ass lickers here.
Yeah. Maybe you should follow at soft ass liquor. Jeez.
Anyways.
You can Igor Ozhiganov go out and achieve what you want to achieve. as he friggin' makes
not-
his toe into a waffle
Not
fry.
all of what he says is wrong.
There are very good lessons
Yes.
hidden in some weird stuff.
Yeah, you don't. Here's the thing. It's like great lesson. Always continue to get better. I'm in.
Yeah.
Who gives a fuck about sunscreen? I'm out.
Wait,
Like,
no.
And like, here's the thing, man. If you put on sunscreen, you can still go for a run. It's crazy. I know.
Also, I had a very
crazy.
Canadian thought during that video. I'm like, man, go to the doctor.
Oh no, you gotta pay for that, dude.
I'm like, man, go to the doctor.
No, you can't do that.
Why do that when I can just fuck with it with a pin?
Also, I'm sure if it's 100 degrees outside, I'm sure you can find an air-conditioned treadmill to do your run
Fuck
that
no.
day.
He's picking the worst days on the calendar and he's running towards them. That's what he said. Direct quote. Listen, man, if it works for him, good for you.
Yeah.
But also, I mean, scientists say the world needs scientists. He did say that, right? And they're
But it
recommending that you
also-
put on
All
some
of
sunscreen.
them. The world needs scientists, people who have done lots of research. This is contrary to everything I just said. Fuck load management, except for that one time where it won a championship.
It won an NBA
Yeah,
But
championship.
also,
Didn't work for Kawhi at all.
it's but you got to have that championship mentality. No, championship mentality is don't do more than you can.
Or then
Sure.
safe. Like Kawhi was resting his quad that he evidently blew out. And
No,
and
he should be playing the second half of a back-to-back against the Atlanta Hawks.
Right?
Because fuck it. Because you pick the worst days of the calendar and you just go right at them. Head first, no helmet, no sunscreen, no cares in the world.
Yo, what would he say about
Yeah.
Antonio Brown's feet? Am I right? He'd go right at them with the safety
I
pin.
know. Yeah. What is Antonio Brown doing sitting out with his injury? Maybe he should get a second opinion from @soft motherfucker. Jesus.
Why is he wearing a helmet anyway?
These guys who just throw I would describe it as muscular word salad.
Yeah.
Just
Most of CrossFit is like that.
and they just take advantage of people who want motivation so badly. And I'm just like,
well,
listen,
the guy
it's
on
in yourself.
That
guys.
video has been up for 24 hours. It's got 900,000 views. So obviously, there's a lot of people that get a lot of motivation. I can see why, man.
The message is important.
great, yeah.
Work hard. Don't be lazy.
Yeah.
Push yourself. Good. Wear sunscreen.
I think it's the internet age. You know what? Maybe he is trying to do a great thing, but every time I see someone post something like that, I'm just like, oh God, who's misinterpreting this?
Exactly.
And it's most people.
yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So there are parts of that you don't need to take literally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There are people who
Yeah,
watch that.
I'm gonna put on a full
It's like
just winter jacket and run out in 100-degree
There are
heat.
people who watch that and then take like a 100-pound tire and jerk their back and throw it somewhere
Yeah.
and throw it their back in
when
10
they
years.
when they haven't worked out in 20 years.
Right.
Yeah.
That's the wrong lesson to take from that.
Yeah.
This is just, hey, don't spend all your time watching TV. You know?
do
Maybe-
more than you did yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah, like when you, it's funny when you go to CrossFit. It's like, oh, this is your 1 rep max. Cool. We're gonna subtract 5 pounds, and you're gonna do it 100 times, and then you're gonna fucking vomit, and then you're gonna do it again. Yeah, it's like, that might injure somebody. There are other ways. If that works for you, great. But normally, you need to be in good shape to take something like that on, right? You can't really just start at that. Anyway, I'm glad that you brought that up because that's quite funny. I think we should check in with him from time to
Should
time.
we?
Get motivated, man. Get motivated.
I heard these motherfuckers on a podcast.
Oh man, if you shouted us out, you know how good that would be for
Oh my
everyone.
God.
We should clip this.
2 bags of milk and Jesse. And I didn't like what they had to say.
Are we doing a press conference today?
We can.
All right,
We
let's
can
do
always
it.
do a press
Let's do it.
conference.
This one comes from @softmotherfucker.
By the way, just throwing this out there, the American election, which is not until, I think, not for 18 months. You know,
my
Canada's got an election in 72 days. We haven't heard a fucking thing about it.
What? Is
Yeah.
it?
Well, we have a federal election.
Like
potentially a new prime minister in 72 days. We have no idea.
Wait, that's this.
That's this year.
Autumn.
Yes.
72 days.
72 days. We haven't heard a thing.
I knew it was
No.
ramping
The
up.
The
I
American
didn't-
election's next November, and we're hearing about it now.
That's crazy.
That's how crazy or different our countries are. But
When are the debates?
there are the
Do we have
Democratic
debates?
debates have already started.
No,
Our
ours.
debates.
Screw theirs.
I would imagine probably when all the houses come back, and probably in September and October. Yeah,
That's wild.
that's it. Yeah, it's a
Wow.
short. Well, they spend significantly less on their campaigns per capita too.
I mean, yeah.
I don't care. Well, I do care how you vote, but you know what political spectrum I'm coming from. Although I do find this very funny. Now, one of the things that you used to be able to get away with was when it was only network media. If you slipped up, the networks would be like, "Well, they slipped up." Mm-hmm. But now, if you say something wrong, it gets twisted and turned and replayed a million times, and it's always on the internet forever. And Joe Biden yesterday
I saw
said, "Poor kids are just as talented as white kids." Now, I think we know what he was trying to say.
That's not from SNL, right?
No, that's
they're on
real.
hiatus for the summer.
He
so.
said it, and he was saying it in front
how
of
do you
the
parody this
Asian and
world?
Latino Coalition PAC.
What?
What?
He was in front of the Asian and Latino Coalition PAC,
Oh,
which is a
okay.
PAC.
Oh,
and
he said
so
that?
he
Oh,
went
my
up and
God.
said, "Poor kids are just..." And again, you think he was probably trying to say something else, and
Slip
it
of
came
the
out that way.
tongue,
But I gotta say,
yeah.
I think that's really funny. I don't know why. I just think it's like just the ridiculous
no.
shit that's gonna come. This is such a circus. It's unbelievable.
No, so I saw that the other day, and I was like, well, that's him cooked. And then I went, oh, wait, no, it's 2019, and that doesn't happen anymore.
no one's
you,
cooked.
You can just say whatever you want at all times.
By the way,
with no consequence.
As long as 30 to 50 wild hogs don't come for you.
True.
Oh,
You're
my
good.
God.
As of 10 minutes ago, Raiders wide receiver Antonio Brown had a 2-hour-long meeting with league officials today regarding whether or not he could wear his old helmet.
How do you
Oh
talk
my
about a helmet for 2 hours?
His NFL future could be riding on it, as in he may just decide not to play.
oh, my God.
Over a helmet.
He's been watching David Goggins videos all day and came to the conclusion he misinterpreted it.
That's true.
Every one of these videos is about my helmet, and I will not bend.
Here's some quick trivia from Real Cool Club on Reddit. So it's just going to be who had more points as a Toronto Maple Leaf?
Oh.
I'm going to give you two options.
Oh.
You got to tell me which one had more points.
Okay.
All right?
Got it.
We'll alternate. It's, I'm going to ask you 5 questions. Whoever gets the most right of these 5 wins.
Okay.
Patrick Marleau or Jeff O'Neill? Adam, who's your pick?
Jeff O'Neill.
Steve, who's your pick?
Patrick Marleau.
Marleau, 84.
Damn.
O'Neill, 80.
Wow.
Steve, you're going first this time. Who had more points, Kyle Wellwood or Connor Brown?
Oh, my God.
These are really good. Thank you
That's
for
a
doing
good
this.
one. Wow.
Kyle Wellwood.
Adam, who's your choice?
This is important. There's a lot riding on this. Wellwood was a Leaf for like 4 seasons.
He was a Leaf for quite a while.
I'm going to say Wellwood.
Wellwood, both got that right. It's 108 to 99.
Wow.
Yeah. So
Wow,
it's
that's pretty tight.
2-1 Steve.
Brown's rookie season was, like, unreal.
Adam, you're going first. Clark MacArthur or Jason Blake?
Clark MacArthur.
Steve, who's your pick?
See, Jason Blake,
He had a couple good years.
Yeah, a lot of Leaf fans are so down on him.
But the Leafs just sucked. He was actually pretty good.
Yeah, and like supposedly was like really like was a possession wizard too. I will say Clark MacArthur though.
Both incorrect. Jason
Wow.
Blake.
Damn it.
141 to 125.
Wow.
MacArthur
Yeah.
only had 125.
Yeah.
But he had that 130 goal season. We all
He had
just
like
cool him.
he has 60 plus points. That whole line.
2-1 Steve still. Second last question. Tyler Bozak or Nazem Kadri? Steve, you're first.
Oh my God.
That's tough.
Yeah, that's a good one.
That's tough.
Kadri.
I'm going to say Bozak because he played with JVR and Kessel.
365, 357. Bozak. 2-2.
Wow.
This is 2-2.
This is where it comes down
This is
to.
it. Kuhlman or Matt Stajan? Adam, you're going first.
Oh my God. Oh wow.
Stajan was a Leaf longer for sure.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with Kuhlman.
Steve?
Stajan was a Leaf for so long. I'm gonna say Stajan.
Matt Stajan. 223 to 195.
Wow.
Yeah, there you go.
Wow. Man, what a great question.
Yeah, those are great.
Just
Wow, that was excellent.
game.
Right down to the
Steve.
wire.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, drama.
Man.
I want
OT.
that every show. That was so
Man,
good.
the trivia stuff is the
Yeah.
best.
Next episode, we'll do who has more wins. That's goalies.
Oh, okay.
All
Interesting.
right. I like it. I like it. Well, that was lots of fun, gentlemen. And here's the thing. We're going to be back on Monday because it's Meatless Monday, baby.
Yes.
We can't miss a Meatless Monday. So we will see you on Monday so you don't have to fill up our DMs with what else are we doing.
Hey!
And here's the thing. It's summer,
Yeah.
and there isn't a whole lot going on. So if the fact that Jesse talked about his vacation, or we talked about Antonio Brown's feet, or David Goggins running towards the man because he's fucking intense, bothered you, well, what would you talk about? And please hit me up. I'm ready, man.
I can't wait for, it's going to be too long between podcasts. And we're just going to start getting, hey, at soft motherfuckers, where's the new podcast?
My wife and I have this thing now where it's like we have our fake workout motivation, and so we call it in it to win it. And so one of the things we're doing to work out now is we take the baby to the park and we push the stroller up the hill, and it's a lot harder than you'd think. And then if one of us doesn't want to do it, the other one will be like, well, that doesn't sound like an in it to win it attitude. And then you get up and you go, okay, fuck you, let's go.
God.
It's so bad because we're literally making fun of those people. But
I love winding up my wife at the gym. It sounds like you're making excuses. How about you make an effort? I love that. And then
you get
she
hit
does?
in the face.
Well, when we do boxing, she punches really hard when I make her mad. She's got angry fists.
I'm not surprised.
Scared of her. This is my cry for help.
I know who I'm picking in a fight.
Oh my God.
Yep. Anyway,
she's Scottish.
We love you
Thicker
guys.
skull.
Thank you so much for listening, especially to the midsummer episodes, because. And we'll talk to you on Monday. Yeah.
Follow the guys on Twitter at Steve_Dangle, at Adam WYLDE, and at Jesse Blake.
The Steve Dangle Podcast. Brought to you by Panago Pizza. Order at panago.com and stuff your face with deliciousness.